Welcome to Arise and Shine with me, Dr. Vivian Atut. I'm your trusted guide on Arise and Shine. Today we are delving deep into a delicate yet vital terrain of trust in relationships. Join me for an unforgettable journey filled with real life narratives, timeless wisdom, and powerful strategies to rebuild trust in your relationship as we try to dance this dance of human connections. Are you ready? If you're new to our show, please subscribe. You are VIPs and we love to have you. We love to have your comments. Share the episode. Invite others to listen. If you've been grappling with the topic of building resilient relationships, let's get into it. So I like to always start by taking us to the good book, and I want us to go with me to the book of Genesis. And let's go back and visit the story of Joseph and his brothers. So, this biblical tale of Joseph and his brothers paints a picture of Joseph being his father's favorite. And because he was his father's favorite, more happened to this young man. He was a guy who had lots and lots of dreams. And when he shared his dreams with his brothers, they got envious. And because they got envious, they even thought at one point to kill him. And then they became more lenient and sold him as a slave in Egypt. As time and history would have it, he became what? A powerful leader in Egypt. And now the time came for this young man to face his brothers once more, not with vengeance, but with grace. This tale is rich with themes of forgiveness, of reconciliation, and the arduous journey of rebuilding trust. Joseph's willingness to forgive his brothers when they showed remorse really teach us that even the deepest wounds can heal with time and genuine effort. It's not easy, make no mistake. I mean, there are relationships that become unrepairable at certain points, and that's why we still have high rates of divorce, high rates of people parting ways in organizations, breaking relationships. But the reality is that we need to do all else. We need to do all efforts. So the ancient narratives, it really offers or gives us profound lessons of our modern lives, and it emphasizes the importance of empathy, of communication and patience in restoring broken relationships. This is just the tip of the iceberg. So let's bring this closer to home with a reverting listener. The story of our brother Mark. Shout out to Mark. Mark experienced a profound rupture in his trust within his family when he discovered that his own brother had betrayed his confidence. Mark felt hurt, he felt isolated, and initially he struggled like many of us out there. I mean, there are many Marks out there. Really, he struggled to confront his brother. But however, inspired by the story of Joseph, uh, even though he felt hurt, Mark decided to approach his brother with an open heart. Never close all options. Always be open. So, through honest conversations and shared vulnerability, they began to slowly go through this rewarding process of doing what? crying together, mourning together for the betrayal and the destruction of trust, but then rebuilding their trust. So this story really teach us is the testament to resilience and grace, and it tells us we can emerge from the process of healing, showing us that trust can be restored through perseverance and mutual understanding. I mean, you've got to have a dose of perseverance. You've got to be willing to mutually understand where the other person is coming from. Sometimes just misunderstanding. So let's go back. If that is already exciting to you, let me take you back to the good book. And this time, let's go to the New Testament and look at the story of the prodigal son's return. So, in the spirit of forgiveness and redemption, we look at this parable. This parable gives us a powerful story of a young man who squandered his inheritance in reckless living. So he found himself destitute, and what happened? He's like, oh my goodness, my father's servants, my father's employees are way better off than who I am right now. I mean, life will take you to situations where you would rather not be there. And once he realized that he is in a bad state, he said, oh my goodness, let me go back to my dad. And even when he knew that he was going to meet resistance, what did he receive? Unconditional love and forgiveness from his dad. So the father's reaction when the guy has memorized and said, oh, I'm going to tell my dad, I've sinned against you, I've sinned against God. Please just hire me as a servant. I don't deserve to be your son. But the dad says, come on, boy, you still my son. I forgive you. Come back to the family and take your position as a son. I mean, this kind of reaction tells us about what the transformative power of grace and the willingness to embrace those who seek to make amends. People who seek to make amends, remember, emphasize, highlights the work, seek to make amends. They really want to make right. So this story is a beacon of hope, reminding us of the redemption, that redemption is always within reach, and rebuilding trust through challenging, though it's a challenging exercise, but it's possible with a heart to forgive, when we are open to change, when we are open to learning new things, open to say that we are vulnerable, we've made mistakes, we willing to move to the next level, we willing to ask for forgiveness, and it's always somewhere around the corner. So let's carry on with this conversation. I hope someone is still living, navigating. If your answers or the answers to your questions have not yet been attended to, let's look at things like, how do we navigate betrayal? Trust often faces its severest test in the aftermath of betrayal. Consider the story of David and his advisor, Ahithophel. This guy was a trusted counselor, but he betrayed David by doing what? Siding with his rebellious son, Absalom. I mean, how else would you be? You are a trusted counselor of a king, and the son becomes rebellious and wants to take over the kingdom. Instead of protecting the king, you side with that son. I mean, it couldn't be worse than this. So this betrayal really shook David. It highlighted the pain and complexity of broken trust. From this ancient tale, we learn that betrayal can come from those close to us. The path to rebuilding trust is fraught with emotional turmoil. Yet, even in the face of such challenges, it is possible to navigate the aftermath with wisdom, with discernment, and the support of loyal friends and family. So, rebuilding trust after betrayal requires both parties to engage in honest dialogue, seek mutual understanding, and come together to the process of healing. I mean, it hurts if you've been betrayed. I mean, trust me, I have been a number of times. Trust me, it's hard, it's a difficult, it's a painful route, because you look at someone in the eyes and say, you trash all this. So, how do we move forward from there? What strategies can we use to rebuild trust? So, let's arm ourselves with some practical strategies for rebuilding trust in relationships. Firstly, number one, open communication is crucial. I mean, I can never overemphasize this. It means you are willing to express your feelings openly, listening to the other person without judgment. Without judgment, you are willing to say, I've been messed up, I've been broken, I've been betrayed. You're willing to talk and listen without any form of judgment. Very critical. Secondly, setting healthy boundaries. It helps one to create a safe space for both parties to heal. It's important to be clear about what you need to feel secured and respected. I mean, there are some boundaries that you need to really look at. There are some access that you've given people in your life that sometimes you need to shut for the purpose of healing, the purpose of moving and building trust again. You need to recalibrate your boundaries with certain people. The next important thing is consistency. In actions, you need to be consistent. If you want to rebuild trust, it takes time and it takes consistency, but showing also what reliability and honesty, it helps you to rebuild and restore faith and trust. It's not going to be something that is overnight. You need to show, if you say you've changed, you need to constantly do the actions that really shows that. And point number four, you want to seek professional help. I mean, it gets to point where trust is really shattered in talking, whether it's open communication, whether it's building new healthy boundaries, whether it's actually being consistent. You need more than that. You need counseling, you need professional help, you need therapy. You need to be able to tell yourself, I will go for this, because you want to move to a space of safety. So these actions can actually guide you through the intricate process of rebuilding trust and fostering what strong and more resilient connections. Wow, it's been an exciting journey. What an emotional and transformative exploration we've had today. Courageous souls, we've journeyed through the intricate part of rebuilding trust in relationships. We've drawn wisdom from our biblical parables, looking at the story of Joseph, looking at the story of the prodigal son. We've looked at resilient stories of individuals like our listener Mark, and how he rebuilt his relationship with his brother. We've looked at the process of healing and rebuilding trust, and we know it's a profound journey. It's fraught with challenges, but it's also beaming with hope if we stay on that journey. So, as we begin to wrap up this episode for today, I want to leave you with a spark that would illuminate your path to trust and healing. Just pause for a moment. Imagine trust not just as a delicate thread, but as a resilient tapestry woven with threads of forgiveness, understanding, and the courage to rebuild what has been broken. For example, Mark's story, it resonates deeply. It really showcases strength that emerges from vulnerability. Sometimes we just have to be vulnerable. We just have to be ourselves. There is power in vulnerability. We just have to be willing to mend even when our trust has been shattered, even when we're crying and weeping because we've had shattered trust by the ones that we love. So, in the spirit of the prodigal son's return, we've also witnessed that redemption is possible and rebuilding trust is a testament to the endurance of the human spirit, the human spirit. So now let me share a quote from Proverbs 3 and in verse 3 to 4. I love Proverbs 3. Let not steadfast love and faithfulness forsake you. Bind them around your neck, write them on the tablet of your heart. Why? Because what you write in your heart comes to your heart, comes to your action. So you will find favor and good success in the sight of who? God and man. So trust, like love and faithfulness, is a precious jewel that adorns the heart that we need to bind it. So as we bid farewell to this episode, I encourage you to share your stories of rebuilding trust, your triumphs, the strategies that have strengthened your relationships. Subscribe and stay connected. Let's continue to arise and shine together. Until next time, may your relationships be marked with trust, with healing, and resilience. Keep shining on.